how we doing, everybody? Most of you will probably be watching this on Friday, October 31st, so happy Halloween, and hope you steal all of your kids' candy, because that's what's best for them. It's the...
Definitely steal the candy, because that's really all it's about, is the kids bring home the candy for the adults to take advantage of.
Correct. We got a lot going on, especially because we had some breaking news right before we hopped on. Before we jump into that, like, follow, subscribe, rate 5 stars, share us with 3 friends, and keep on listening. We're going to jump right into the breaking news, and that is LSU and athletic director Scott Woodard have parted ways. Josh Pate on Sunday night said he thought that by the end of the week, Woodard would not be there. And here we are at 9 o'clock on Thursday. And according to Pete Nakos, done deal. Scott Woodard out.
Yep. So the weirdest thing about this whole, like, what a weird time that we're alive in, right? Like the Louisiana governor had to come out at in some sort of press conference of sorts or whatever, saying that the LSU athletic director was not going to be hiring the next coach. And then you have all the facts that come out about how Woodard had freaking hired Jimbo Fisher at A&M and botched that whole deal, then now botched this Brian Kelly thing with how much these contracts were worth and all that stuff. And, like,
And
basically...
then finding out that they all go through the same agent.
Yeah. So, like, that's... Oh, boy. I mean, it's just one of those things, like, it's almost kind of scary because, like, if LSU's had that much of a, like, turmoil, so to speak, like, once they figure this thing out and get it all righted, whew, LSU is going to be one nasty son of a gun to deal with in the SEC and obviously nationally. As they should.
Yeah.
As they should be.
The whole thing is just weird, man. Like, as soon as the game's over, you have all the donors meeting up in a skybox, like, saying, okay, I'll donate this much towards the buyout. The next donor, I'll donate this much. And, like, that night, everyone's up in one of the skyboxes until they have enough money to pay the buyout. Well, then the governor gets involved, and he's sitting there, not to make this political, but he's sitting there. I would rather have Donald Trump select our next coach than Scott Woodard, as Scott Woodard is still the sitting athletic director of LSU.
Yeah, it's such a weird deal, dude, because it's like, okay, wait a second. You're holding a public office.
Yes.
And you're concerning yourself with Division I college football.
Yes.
Like, that tells you kind of, like, it's not, like, I think it's interesting for us to talk about, but it's also, like, when you really sit down and think about it, it's kind of a sad state of affairs that's what we're at. Like, a sitting governor of a state has to get involved with college football. I mean, just think about that line I just said right there.
I think a lot of it has to do with LSU doesn't have a president now.
Well, correct. Like, there's a lot of factors that...
Now they don't have an athletic director. They don't have a head football coach. Like, holy cow, LSU.
It's just amazing to me, though. Like, now Louisiana's, like, one of the most poverty-stricken states in the country, too. Yeah. Like, it's in the top 5 or 6 or something like that.
I think it's, like, 2 or 3 right behind Mississippi and Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, they're all right there. And like, it's just interesting to me that, like, we're sitting here, you got like, I think I looked this up at one point, or like last week, it's like 17% poverty or something dumb.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you have that poverty rate in there, and yet we're pooling money to buy out a coach. I mean, I love athletics, dude. I do, and I love college football, but at some point, you just have to call out the ridiculousness in terms of priority here. Like, it's just a little bit off.
You're fired by a guy that sells chicken strips. Raising Cane's guy's probably who's footing this whole bill.
Yeah. I heard they're closing the store in Fremont just so they could foot the bill.
Yeah, I bet. It's crazy because here you have LSU, and it's like their biggest donor is a chicken fingers guy. And then you have freaking Penn State, and it's Pagula, owner of the Bills and the New Jersey Devils, and like.
Yeah.
It's wild, man.
I guess not to make a political joke out of it, but like, I think that it's kind of interesting with all these kind of bigger figureheads that are kind of, I mean, I would just call it, like, for lack of a better term, having an investment in college athletics.
Yeah.
Especially college football, obviously, like how much money we're talking about for these types of people to be outspoken, when it never used to be that way.
Yeah.
Like if we have entered this whole era where money, I mean, you need more and more money just because of paying players and like these outrageous coaching salaries. And I kind of brought up the point on Fastlane about the idea, and I think I said it to you too, is like the idea of potential like merit-based pay, and or incentivized pay or whatever, like I kind of like the way, and we could segue into Rhule's contract because you have the details on that.
There's a couple more things I want to hit on with LSU. But okay. Yes, it's exactly how Rhule's new contract is set up.
Yeah, but I would think that like the total number of like salary probably could be bumped down a little bit.
Yeah.
That way you can also make room for your players that you can be more competitive to get those players, and then like, hey, look, you make the college playoff, you get this amount of money.
Yeah.
You win 10 games, you get this amount of money. And like instead of securing all this guaranteed money from the start, it's like the term unmotivated comes to mind. Like, I'm not saying coaches are unmotivated because they're naturally competitive, but it kind of like loses the whole, like, well, I'm already guaranteed all this money, like.
It's like what we talked about with Scott Frost. Like,
it doesn't really matter if I fail because I'm getting paid anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't like that, but
it's like, is LSU hoping that Paul Skeens like goes to the Dodgers and gets some crazy $500 million deal? Hey, you want to share something out with LSU?
Jeez, I was hoping Paul Skeens would somehow show up in Minnesota with Shelty.
Yeah, right. Gosh.
That's another topic for another episode.
Yeah, we will get into MLB off season here. That might be like a Tuesday night episode we'd kind of do off. With LSU, it's really interesting now because where do you go first? Do you hire athletic director, then coach? And then president last? Do you start with the president? Do you do a coach that wants to bring his athletic director? Like,
ooh, that's an interesting point right there. Is there a duo? I mean, we haven't talked about this. So like, obviously, is there a duo of a head coach and an AD like package that's even attractive out there for LSU?
Yes. I don't know about LSU, but Dana White, Josh Heupel.
Oh boy, I don't see that going to Tennessee though, or to LSU though.
LSU, no, that's the first AD coach combo that kind of comes to mind.
Yeah, huh? I wouldn't. I just like I'm not a. You'd have to show me. Decision makers would have to know. If I was a decision maker on that, I would have to know that Josh Heupel was committed to bolstering his defense.
Yeah.
Well, committed. Well, that's. You know what, dude? That's a scary combination. A Josh Heupel offense and a Blake Baker defense. That's like, I don't even like thinking about that because that makes me nervous.
Yeah.
On top of some of the other great coaching, combinations we already have, like that's just adding to the list.
Yeah.
So, man, that's a crazy. That'd be crazy. I don't like it at all.
I mean, we might be onto something there.
I don't see the.
Heupel is not a Louisiana guy.
No, and I don't see the chin going there. Gosh,
and like, so. Is this something where then you go get Saban as an athletic director?
No way. I think Saban, we've talked about it a couple times. I think Saban is holding out
back as a coach.
No. I think he's holding out for the college football commissioner.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you can take that. I don't think you could take an AD job at LSU or anything like that. Unless you're convinced it's going to be really short term, because I don't think it's going to be very long until we have some sort of governing body
Yeah.
or individual commissioner. What did he just come out today? He kind of blasted the G League basketball players coming back into college,
No, I
and
didn't see that.
I think it was on college football. One of the college football only things. Like it was like Saban was outspoken about G League basketball failures coming back into college and using eligibility. And
Yeah.
so he kind of likened that as to, oh, like if a guy fails in the NFL or doesn't make a team, like being able
Yeah.
to come back or something, and like so
Like he's on a P squad. Can he go back to college to get good
yes,
time?
essentially. And so
Yeah.
like that's why he's I think Saban's doing a lot of backdoor channeling to figure out like becoming commissioner. I mean, I just feel like the
I just
innuendo's all
hope that
there, and
if they go to this commissioner, they can't go get a Petiti or a Sankey or an Emmert. They can't be going and getting or Phillips from ACC. Like you can't get a conference affiliated person.
no, I think if you have a breakaway where you have where college football has a commissioner and like at that point you have to have this joint for lack of a better term, like this joint view where everybody has like you have to have a system in place that's not subjective.
Yeah.
You have to have equal access to the playoff and a streamlined like reason how to get there where it's not so many wild
Yeah.
cards. It's like if you finish top 3 in your conference, you're in, plus we'll take however many wild cards, whatever
Yeah.
the number of the playoff is, like there's a lot of things you can iron out. And then that the commissioner can kind of just be like, I mean, I don't know, like I do appreciate Saban's honesty about college athletics. It's the
Yeah.
only thing that's my hang up with him is exactly what you're alluding to.
Yeah.
Is like he's clearly going to favor the SEC. He
Yeah.
already does, and that's partly because he's on ESPN. But
Yeah.
I also think that that's obviously from his coaching time too.
Well, maybe the
So-
LSU governor can be the commissioner. Maybe he's trying to get his, reputation up.
Maybe when his time's done serving the public, he's like, "Hey, this is my next job. I'm going to be the
Yeah.
college football commissioner."
Yeah. Oh man, there's just so much happening, and it's crazy that, or what is it? A quarter of the SEC jobs are open, or yeah, I think it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been seeing all this stuff floating around about like, well, if the SEC is so dang good and so deep, then why are they leading the league in fired coaches
Yeah.
or leading college football in fired coaches?
So with LSU, back to that whole coach situation, like obviously, oh, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Joel Klatt. He thinks it's probably going to be Lanning, and then
It's too expensive, dude.
dude, LSU's got money.
I know, but like I just broke this down on Fastlane. Like it's going to be 150 million because of all the stock bonuses that Lanning gets from Nike.
Well, you can take stock with you.
Yeah, but that's not how his contract's tied up. I've read all about this. Like you're going to have to you spent the money to get rid of Brian Kelly. You have to spend the money to get rid of most of his staff. And then you have to spend the money that you got to pay back to Oregon, which is going to be it's 20 million. It's 20 million for the buyout plus the Nike stock. Like which that said for all intents and purposes, it said was going to be upwards of 55 to 60 million just to get him there. And then you got to pay him his contract on top of that too.
Yeah.
Like I know there's money, but it's like then what happens like I just don't see it being Lanning. Like he's continually said he's not leaving, like
No.
he's already leveraged, like his contract is ridiculous in Oregon, like there's no reason to. There's literally no reason to.
Well, Nick Saban also said he wasn't leaving LSU.
Well, but that's in a different era, and I think the possibilities of Oregon being a high-end playoff contender every year in and year out in the Big Ten. Now, I know that LSU's upside is like right there with the very top of the SEC, but it is a grind. Like as much as we dog on the SEC, like there's a real chance you're going to go 8-4, even as a great team. You could go 8-4 in SEC, and you're totally missing the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like that's probably not happening in the Big Ten while you're at Oregon.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's,
as it looks like right now.
yeah.
I mean,
Well, maybe the
landscape can
governor
always
will pay
change.
off the Nike stock. So
I think it'd be interesting. I want to know what happens to Oregon when Phil Knight like passes away.
Yeah.
You know, like when that's
and
run
then
its course.
to continue that thought, Pate thinks it's going to be Marcus Freeman.
That's where my mind's at, right there.
Yeah. Dipping
Like,
in the Notre Dame well again.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He just kind of strikes you as like a Southern culture fit for LSU.
Just the no BS, like
No BS, like, and I'm not saying that race is a big thing, but obviously, like, there's a little bit of like, I mean, he's like obviously part African American and like, you know, or fully. I don't know what his like percentages are, but I mean, like, I do think that that's a big thing, like in comparison to Brian freaking Kelly.
Yeah.
You know, like those players, he's a players guy. You know, Brian Kelly's more of just like he's all about himself, you know.
Yes.
Like Marcus Freeman, I think truly cares about players. Like it doesn't, I'm not saying you have to be black to care about your players, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like there's this stark difference even though they're both from Notre Dame. Like
Yeah. Yeah, and then I just don't know, like for LSU it has to be someone of that nature. Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's kind of why I was like, I don't see Josh Heupel moving that needle.
Yeah.
You know, like now his offensive scheme would be dynamite with Blake Baker, like we said. But
yeah.
From a player's, like being a player's coach perspective, you know, like I think the names you just listed off are the easily
Joe Brady
the top
could
ones.
be an option too.
I've said that for a long time now, since this whole, well, I guess since the beginning of this firing or whatever. Like Joe Brady, there's got to be a lot of connection there, obviously, with and allure from fans just because of what 2019 LSU was.
Yeah,
you know. So
and heck, at this point, bring back Ed O.
Did you see he was actually asked about that?
Yeah, and he said, "I'll do it. I'll do it tomorrow.
I'll get it in the car today."
Yeah. Yeah. Dude. All right, so we'll jump into the other big news of the day is Matt Rhule got a 2-year extension, no base salary raise, but for every year he makes the playoff, he gets $1 million a year raise, 90% guaranteed. His buyout, if he is to leave, went from $5 million to $15 million, and his buyout, if he's to get fired, it went from $52 million to $71 million with the 2 years added on, which obviously as each year goes by, that goes down. I mean, even in 2 months, that's going to go down at the end of this year. Like,
right. Yeah. But I mean, you don't extend a guy and expect to fire him. Like you obviously think he's doing the right thing. Well, they did give Frost
an extension and then fire him 2 months later.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, but they didn't envision him losing to Georgia Southern.
Yeah.
So,
but I think it's really good. And I like Rhule had his a podcast with Damon Benning this morning that they put out.
Mm-hmm.
And he went into a lot of they've been talking about the extension since week 3. And if you put it together, week 3 is when Matt and Julie Rhule took that flight with Troy Dannon and his wife to Vegas for the Bud Crawford fight.
Mm.
So I'm guessing that's where it all started. And the timing of it, Rhule went into explanation, is he's been telling, like, all the recruits that call and ask what's going to happen, he's been telling them he's not going anywhere. He's been telling his team he's not going anywhere. But he said at some point it gets so big you have to put proof out there that you're not going. Because he said the extension was going to come at the end of the year. Which you get that on Rhule's side because then you leverage another year essentially in that extension.
Yeah.
But they had to do it now so people weren't jumping ship. And especially with what Nebraska has. I mean, this recruiting weekend they have coming up against USC's got every top name in the 27 class.
Yeah, and so I think you bring up like a really good point. Like I think that you have to secure him because there's this it's this just goes into social media and how the media is somehow allowed to report
Yeah.
false reports,
Yeah.
and like they can make up like they can be completely wrong, and like if the recruit, like I know that recruits are going to be more, they're
Yeah.
going to be more thorough in finding out
Yeah.
information, but I mean like it's just like the optics,
It's
optics
it's
play
the
a big.
Texas situation from last weekend.
Yeah, I mean, like it's literally just like it's optics or play such a big part, and it's unfortunate that it is that way,
Yeah.
because a lot of things are done on impression and decisions are made based off of the way the things look, and so like I I just don't like the way that certain media is available or
Yeah.
able to report these false narratives,
Yeah.
knowing they're false, just to help the image of somebody else,
Yeah.
because there's all that going on too. But
Well, and the other
it's
thing
no
is,
different than Nick Saban walking into a recruit's house and say, oh, LSU's coach can't do this, that, like, I
yeah.
mean, that's just all behind closed doors though, so
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
don't know.
who was it? The basketball coach, Buzz Williams, admitting to
Uh,
openly recruiting guys to Maryland
oh
when
yeah, I
he was,
saw that.
yeah, like when he was at Texas A&M.
Right. Yeah, that's
So,
weird. Like I don't know, like I just sometimes I go back to the whole idea of like, don't we have laws around like libel and slander
yeah.
and all that kind of stuff? How did those things not get enforced in the media?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, going back to your whole media point, like we had a local radio host here in Omaha. He's got, 10,000 followers or whatever. Like I'm not a fan of him personally, but I mean, all he did was tweet out sources are saying this contract's done. Well, then he puts out an article on SI
Hmm.
saying these are the sources, and you go look who wrote the article, and it was him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
So
and I texted,
you're completely manipulating the
yes.
situation. Yeah, I know.
So, like, the way I like to handle stuff is obviously you and me are in a media background locally,
Yeah.
and we get a lot of information. I've gotten a lot of information with Nebraska as far as the uniform stuff
Yeah.
and so on. But it's to me, it's not worth it to put it out there just to be the first one.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
No, I totally agree with that. Like you don't that's the thing, is there's so many people that want to be like, "Well, I said it first," like, well, I would like to know like what is the real benefit of being first to break the news?
yeah,
Other than that you're the one that's getting the most clicks because you're
yeah,
the first you know what I mean? Like, and I
yeah,
know, oh my gosh, I don't want to continue down this whole like thing, but it's like the rules of engagement, like I'm
yeah,
getting really annoyed with that type of stuff, and I just like have it like for us in this podcast, like I'm not trying to toot our own horn or anything, but like
yeah,
we don't do a lot of just trying to go out there. Like I did initially be like, well, we've been saying this for 2 weeks
yeah,
and stuff, but it's like I don't freaking care. Like I
yeah,
just want to do this for fun, and whoever wants to enjoy it with us can.
yeah,
Like I'm not that hungry for having crap loads of followers.
yeah.
So
And I mean, it's, I don't know, it's just to me, I'd rather have the relationships with the people to be able to, like, I don't care about knowing, like, being the first to know. I like to know stuff
yeah,
because that opens up a conversation.
right,
So, like, when I found out about the contract extension, it was another 10-minute conversation of pros and cons and all this with that person, but it wasn't anything like, hey, I got to go tweet this so we can be, get the recognition. Like, no,
right,
like, this allows you, like, even on the negative stuff, like, cool, this person told me about the extension, but even on the negative stuff, he knows he can come talk to me just to get stuff off his chest.
Yeah, you've said this a lot. Maybe not on air, but you've said this to me personally, like just between me and you, is that you really like the idea of building the relationship side of things with this stuff.
Yes.
And so like, and that's ultimately like I think what probably is what's favorable when people listen to us
Yeah.
is I feel like they think like they at least have a feel like they kind of know you. They kind of, like you feel kind of inclusive with it
Yeah.
because I don't know, like I think the same way. Like I just like having conversation,
Yeah.
and ultimately like if I'm right or wrong, like I'll admit that I'm wrong. I'm wrong
Yeah.
freaking every week on something.
Yeah.
like
We
and
both are.
yeah, and there's people
Like,
out there that they will never admit that they're wrong, and there's plenty of people, like that are opposite of that, and like
yeah.
to me, I just think that like a podcast like this, if you are in it for just doing it the right way and not worrying about being
Yeah.
freaking arrogant and all that kind of crap, like now
Well,
Josh Pate, I think it works for Josh Pate, like
I
because
was
that's what he.
just gonna get into this. I think what draws you and me to like Peyton Klatt, we know, and even Damon Benning. We were talking about Damon Benning earlier. What
Hmm.
draws us to them guys, we know that they know a crap ton of information. That,
Right.
but they'll insinuate stuff in little details. Josh Pate talking about, there's gonna be more firings coming down the chamber because he knew about Billy Napier. He didn't
Hmm.
say it was Billy Napier. He didn't say it was Florida. He just said, hey, there's going to be some more firings coming down. You'll find out when it happens. Same thing with Joel Klatt. Joel Klatt knows a lot. But then you have these dumb donkeys, I'll call them, like, what is it, the On 3 crew?
It's cover three.
Cover 3. Like, they got to have everything. They got to be the first. They got to report on everything. You have guys
Yes.
like, what's
It's
Big Ears' name?
freaking it's
Feinbaum.
Bud Elliott. It's Bud Elliott and freaking Tom
Tom Fournette.
Fornelli.
And then you have like Feinbaum. Like all these guys have to report every single thing they hear, and they turn out to be wrong half the time. Like they
Yeah.
go so opinion based, but they get a following.
Yeah,
And
it's insane how you
hold on,
can.
before you get into that thought, 1 second. So it's just weird, like how we were talking about Fornelli and Feinbaum and Bud Elliott. Like you were getting ready to say something.
Yeah, I just those guys drive me nuts because like they've made a living. You kind of mentioned this in the text messaging how they've, or maybe Colin did, like they the beginning of the year they just had this ginormous following
Yeah.
on bashing Nebraska, right? And
Yeah.
so what they do is they have realized that you can talk. I mean, it's just it's the same thing I kind of mentioned. Like you can talk negatively about a program and get more publicity and more engagement by being negative about that program because what's the fan base going to do? Well, they're going to naturally fight for their program. Like
Yeah.
people can't help themselves. Like people cannot help themselves but go try to convince those dudes that they are wrong. But
Yeah.
they already know that they're wrong.
Oh yeah.
But they're saying those things so that way they can create engagement, create impressions, create clicks,
Yep.
and all that kind of crap. And so that helps them get validation. And then
Yeah.
ultimately, what happens? They make money off of it.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's just kind of gross,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And
Like
that's why I like Klatt because he's authentic.
yeah.
He's got some merit behind him, obviously. He played
Yeah.
college football and everybody kind of knows that. And he's been with Fox Sports for long enough and does a good job at what he does.
Yes.
And the same thing, and Pate's obviously a little different road because he wasn't obviously a TV personality and stuff to begin with,
Yeah,
but
no, he started by just going to games, and he tells his story. He got his start. He was working for a local news team, holding the camera. And when he would drive home from whatever event, he would talk into his phone, replaying like he was this. Hey, we were at this game today, and this happened. Like talk about the events that happened. Well, then they had a Friday night football game, and the news anchor that's supposed to cover it got sick, had to go home, and he's like, "Well, I'll just do it." And that's literally how he got his start.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that. I've never taken the time to look into how he started. I know
Yeah,
that
he
it's,
talked about it on before the season. He talked about it on one
but
of his podcasts.
he's been a thing for like since 2019 because as far as
Yeah.
I understand, like that 2019 LSU squad was like a big thing
Yep.
for him.
Yep.
So um yeah, it's kind of crazy how all that stuff works, like it's like Joel Klatt obviously, like when I first started paying attention to Joel Klatt, obviously as a Husker fan, I knew he played quarterback for Colorado,
Yep.
and then I was like, oh, that's the Colorado quarterback, and he was like being interviewed and stuff on Cowherd's show because I
Yeah.
used to watch Cowherd all the time, and then that's kind of where I picked it up, and then he did such a good job on Cowherd's show that he
Yeah.
obviously then developed from there too to have his
Yeah.
own podcast, his own show, and it was just college football. And then it was like, well, I'm going to go follow that guy because Cowherd talks NBA and all this other crap that I don't want to listen to.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So now that we're 30 minutes in, want to jump into some games this weekend?
yeah, let's do it. Let's get some picks.
Okay, cool. Because I was planning on this being the third game, but it's still in the morning window. And I want to start with this based on Tulane is getting belt to ass right now.
Still, they weren't coming back.
No, I turned it off now, but
Well, they scored right before halftime, so I was like, well, maybe that's going to be the thing.
31-12 or something like that, right before
Yeah,
half.
yeah.
But so we'll jump into this 11 o'clock game. North Texas is a 6.5 favorite hosting undefeated Navy and Blake Horvat.
I want to ask you this question because I'm so glad you led with this.
Yes.
How is Navy going to stop Mestamaker? Mestamaker's passed for 608 yards last week against
How
Charlotte.
are they going to stop him? The way they stop everyone. That triple option, your best defense is having an offense with 8-minute drives.
But they still can't stop anybody. Like, yeah, but you're still like just because you're holding the ball forever doesn't mean they're not matching score for score when they do have the ball. That's my point. Is can their defense even get a single stop?
And that's going to be the whole thing.
At all.
It might only take one stop.
On either side.
Yes.
Because I don't think either defense is very good.
Which, in that case, is Navy more likely to get an interception than North Texas to stop 3 yards in a cloud of dust?
Well, let me reverse this a little bit. Is it more likely that North Texas capitalizes on a fumble in an option pitch?
Yeah.
Rather than Mestamaker, who's one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the country, throwing a pick.
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Because yes, ball control, run it, but it's not pound it in your freaking grill by running ISO. It's all triple option.
Throwing a little more too, though.
Right. What I really want to see.
They had to because they can't stop anybody.
I want to see that 6'8", 300-pound quarterback that ran for 5 million yards in that.
Yeah.
The backup quarterback. So, in all reality, he's 6'4" and like 230, but yeah. Anyway.
And at some point, there's Navy has played with fire all year.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying what I'm saying with North Texas.
They have to get burnt sometime, right?
Because North Texas, yes, absolutely. And North Texas is so good offensively. It's their it's kind of similar story. North Texas defense has been just good enough because their offense is so damn efficient. You get 2 stops and all of a sudden you're up 3 scores, It's not been the same way with Navy. It seems like every week they're not even it's not just a 1-score game. It's like within a field goal.
Yes.
Every week. So
where they're having to go down at the end of the game, take a 6-minute drive, score with 12 seconds left, so the other team doesn't get the ball back.
That game to me feels like it should have been tonight. I wish it was, or tomorrow even.
Not tomorrow. We both have obligations tomorrow.
Well, do we? I mean,
I'll stay home and hand out candy.
if the kickoff was like at 7:30 tomorrow night, it might be okay.
Yeah, it's gonna get cold.
Yeah.
So,
I
got to ride the midshipmen. Been riding them since day one this year. They haven't failed me yet.
You said the spread was 6?
6.5 for North Texas at home.
I'll go North Texas.
To cover.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, 100%.
All right.
Now I will. Let me pitch this real quick because
okay.
I forgot to mention this. It was on the tip of my tongue. If Navy wins this game, that removes North Texas from championship possibility in that conference.
Yeah.
Because they don't play Memphis. They don't play Tulane. They
lost to USF.
Yes. So they would have two. So that would make them be out. But a win for North Texas is like, this is like their best game.
Yeah.
This is like, they don't have hardly anybody left in terms of strength on the schedule.
Where
so
Navy can lose this game and they still play Memphis and South Florida.
Yeah, they could play their way back into it.
And
North Texas cannot. Well, yeah, but that would be not a conference loss. Yeah. So
it's got a lot of implications.
Yeah, it's an amazing race if you are into that sort of thing, you know. So
you're a guy that enjoys a cup of Joe.
Is that a real?
Yeah, no. Have you seen the North Texas coffee mugs?
Mm-mm.
I'll build it out this way. Their branding is very good. Picture a coffee mug.
Okay.
The stem is green with the school initials written across the coffee mug. I'll just leave it right there.
That's
their branding is on point for.
There you go.
Yes. So
I can visualize that.
Yeah. I might have to get you one. I know you love yourself some cup of
I love I drink coffee all day today. All day. I think I had my last cup at 4:00.
Oof.
And I started at 8.
All right. Let's talk about a team we haven't talked about in about 6 weeks. Clemson is a 2.5-point favorite hosting Duke. I have nothing. Like, Duke kind of still in the race.
They're in the race, dude. Like, no, they're not. They're not, because of you guys being right the other night. But, like, in the way that I view things, they should be in the race, because the way that if A beats B, B beats C, and C beats D, then A is over D, because it's transitive property with head-to-heads. Like, you don't have to have some stupid metric because Duke is basically out because they've lost in non-cons 3 times, or twice, or whatever it is.
They have a conference loss to somebody too, don't they?
Just a couple weeks ago.
Yes. Georgia Tech.
It was, yes.
Georgia Tech.
And oh my gosh, I don't think they should have lost that game. Like,
I know.
I think that's whatever. Go.
They still got Virginia on their schedule.
Yes.
So, Clemson, they're out. But Dabo's not going anywhere, but now it's like, now you're playing for pride. And if you can keep somebody out of a, chance. So.
It's just so different. Like,
yeah.
I wish that. Dude, I'm kind of thinking, like, I know this is.
I haven't even paid attention to Clemson.
They lost. There's been no reason to. Yes, they got kind of spanked by him.
Yeah,
but
so
I think that now, like, you talk about how, like, you're more about, like, eliminating teams from the playoff and all that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not. I would actually argue that you should go expanded because of what you just said about Clemson and how they're already out and all they're doing is playing for pride and and really, when you say that, you're saying nobody cares about bowl games.
Yeah.
So then why can't we have an expanded playoff? And I hate myself for saying this, but if you go to 32, I know that's a lot. If you go to 32, then teams like Clemson still are playing for their off season, like their postseason, they're still in the mix, even though it's like, yeah, you're not going to win a national title, but you can get to the playoff with being 9-4.
You have to shorten your
8-4.
season.
You wouldn't have to.
You're not going to have these guys go play 20 games.
Well, you don't have to play 20 games.
In the 32-man bracket?
Well, you just eliminate the college football or the conference championships because like the top of the conference is obviously getting in.
So then you're sitting at 17 games. So you're either 18 or 17, which that's the NFL.
It'd be 17, but that's if you go all the way.
Yeah.
So like at the same time, if a team that's playing in the playoff now, if you play a conference championship game, that's 13. If you play in the first round and go all the way to the championship, that's 4 more. That's still 17.
Yeah.
So.
And to me, like, everyone wants to go bigger. I want to go back to 8.
I don't, just because of like what we've already argued, like the whole like Virginia. They don't even have it. Virginia doesn't even have a chance. They don't have a chance, and I think that's garbage. Like,
no, you got a chance. You got to let the season play out.
Well, yes, you have a chance, but I'm saying like when it comes down to it, if they win out and they go 11-1 because they're lost to NC State in a non-conference game, if they go 11-1 and lose that game and go 11-2. They're not going to make the playoff.
No.
But that's like because why? They did what they had to do to play in their conference title game, but Miami would sit there at 11-1 because of the whole how the system is, and they'd be okay to get in. Why would we not have an expanded
it's the same
playoff?
Way Ohio State got in last year.
But I'm saying, I guess my point is that it's like these conferences are so big now is that you don't have the opportunity to play everybody in the conference. And so that's why you have to expand the playoff. So that way you don't have to say Miami's for sure better than Virginia in their own conference, but they never played. Yeah. You know what I mean? So like.
But that goes back to your transitive property argument. With A beats B. If A beats B, B beats C, C beats D. Well, you don't know if D can beat A because they haven't played.
Right, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying is like if they're not going to use that, then they need to have an expanded playoff. That's my point. So that way we're happy because there's some crazy scenarios in here, and I know that we want to make our picks, but geez, like this has to be said. Like Virginia can go like if we throw the conference title games out of it, so before that week, Virginia can be 11-1. Georgia Tech can be 11-1. Louisville can be 11-1. Miami can be 11-1. That's not even including the Big 12's freaking debacle that's going on.
Yeah,
BYU can
BYU,
Cincinnati, Houston, Texas Tech. Those 4 are all possible of going like 11-1, and I think maybe Utah is going to be right there at 10-2.
Yeah,
like
they would be 10-2 because they all have BYU's undefeated. Houston, Texas Tech, and Cincinnati all have 1 loss. Cincinnati's is non-con.
Well, Cincinnati has to play BYU as well, so they would lose
Texas
to them.
Tech.
Yeah. So it's just crazy to me because like I don't like the idea that these you're gonna allow the SEC or even the Big Ten just for the sake of not trying to hammer on the SEC. You're going to say that these teams that are 10-2 have a chance to get in over the other teams that did what they can do. Yeah. And it's like, and we're just going to have the sentiment of saying like, well, tough nuts. We didn't pick you to be in the Big Ten and the SEC when expansion happened, so you're just screwed, and now college football sucks. You know, like, that's not, I don't agree with that. Like, you should have an equal opportunity of sorts to make a postseason run if you win 10 out of your 12 games. Like, you should be able to be afforded that. And
What would you think?
the only way to do that is through 32 teams because I hate buys.
Yeah, but what would you think of like a 24, but the
I don't
four
like buys.
conferences? Hold on. But the conferences do a semifinal and final with for an elimination, where the two final teams get in, but the semifinal teams don't. And then you have the losers play first round.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because like you're potentially still having you're still having potentially three matchups with
Yeah.
the same team. You know, like I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. That's an interesting question. Like,
Because then
what you're saying is you're basically potting it out.
Yes, and you're getting
Yeah.
rid of, because what's the big thing me and you have both talked about? SEC wants 6 teams in, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to watch the same teams play each other that have played each other all year.
Right. I don't
So
want to
if you
see
pause
those
that
games
out-
again. I want to see if I'm a purist of college football, I don't want to see the Southeastern Conference region play each other all up and down the playoffs too. If you're good enough, you'll see those games in the semifinals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we don't need to see those in round 1 when they just happened 2 weeks prior. You know, so like I'm fully with you on that. Like, and I understand the SEC, if you have more teams in the playoff, it's more money and more viewership and more blah blah. Both like I spent a lot of time talking about how like just because you play in the SEC and you're a dog poo program that year doesn't mean you have bragging rights to say that you're better than this team or that team. You know, like Mississippi State, for example. Like just because you play in the SEC doesn't mean you have a better program than Nebraska.
Yeah.
You know, like, but that's how they view it.
Yeah.
Like this whole like, well, we're in the SEC, so we play a tough schedule, so we're good. That doesn't mean squat. If you have a crappy product like Vandy has had forever, you don't just get to say like, well, we're in the SEC, so we're good.
Yeah.
No.
And it's just what's weird to me is the SEC is so great, right?
Yeah.
Then why in the first year did Missouri, coming from the Big 12, go to the SEC championship? Why
first 2 years?
Yeah. Why in the first year did Texas, coming from the Big 12, go to the SEC championship? But this conference is so great.
Dude, it's insane.
Shouldn't you have beat down on these teams coming from another conference?
It's insanity, dude. It is insanity, the narratives that get pushed out. Like Paul Feinbaum, he just said it. If Indiana was playing Alabama's schedule, they would not go undefeated. He doesn't say, I think, it's my opinion, you know, or like the chances are. He says, they would not be undefeated. Tell me I'm wrong. And so they use those kinds of lines to push this narrative.
Yeah.
And now you're getting me into the whole like the Big Ten region is like scholarly.
Yeah.
And the Southeastern Conference is largely I mean, there's high poverty rate, and high poverty rate means what? Not educated.
Yeah.
And so then what happens? They're easily swayed by messages of people they think are smarter than them. And that's how they play the freaking game, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that's like, I'm just saying that's a small tidbit of it that plays into it. I'm not saying that obviously that everybody's that swayed, but like, oh my gosh, it's insanity. It's insane.
And the other part is no other conference has people going to bat for them like ESPN, where you have the talking heads all day and they're the main sports source, just bashing down your throat that all you hear is SEC, SEC, SEC.
Yep. So how I said this on Fastlane, the ESPN has the benefit of having been a national brand, a national news source for however long it's been, that has then largely moved into regional coverage.
Yeah.
That does not happen. You know what I mean? So like you're getting all these people that have been watching ESPN forever, specifically like using the example of College Game Day. I mean, we all tune into Game Day because it's what we grew up doing. You know, and nobody wants to listen to Mark Ingram.
That's
right?
I was just gonna go there. Fox could have a good show. You got Urban Meyer, he's your Nick Saban.
Yeah, you've got to have a rebuttal. You can't have Mark Ingram be your freaking Pat McAfee.
And Dave Portnoy, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah, no, it didn't work. So I guess it's an unprecedented move, is what and the SEC's benefited off of this, obviously, and so but I think ESPN did a great job of doing that because they realized where the money was, where their viewership came from, and the fanatical fan base is I'm not denying.
No, I will take
the SEC has the best atmospheres and fan bases.
100%.
But that does not fan bases and atmospheres do not equate to good product on the field. Look at Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yes.
Nebraska's sold out every freaking game
since 1962.
I'm not, and I don't want to make it about them, but I mean that's the complete reason why fan bases don't make the team. Atmospheres don't make the team.
I think we'll see a lot more, though, when SEC and ACC go to 9 games. Yes, to your point, they don't play each other, but they're also playing one less game.
Right. And I've said that too. They have 16 schools. They have 16 schools. They play 8 games. You're playing 50% of the conference. Yeah. The Big 10 plays 53% of its conference. The Big 12 plays 53% of its conference. The ACC is just a clip below the SEC, obviously, because they're at 17 teams holding out for Notre Dame too, so
yeah.
But it's of course you're going to have these issues, and I said that from the word go when we built these super conferences, is you're going to have so many teams go 10-2 because nobody's playing each other.
Yeah.
Everybody's, for whatever reason, everybody's getting to beat up on freaking Mississippi. I mean, they've been close games, but Mississippi State and Auburn and some of these schools, these schools that have been close to beating some of them, but can't break through because of depth or whatever reasons, and so then there's not really any parity happening yet in the scheduling of the SEC because of how it's all fell.
All right, so let me ask you an ACC question then.
Okay.
Clemson minus 2.5 versus Duke. Where are you going? We should probably get back on track because we're at 52 minutes.
Oh my gosh, Duke! I think Duke can score. They just have they have such a hard time inside the red zone and taking care of the ball.
Holding onto the ball.
Yeah, gosh, they are. I don't want to even see their turnover margin.
Yeah,
I bet it's bad. It's got to be in the lower 10 of the.
I'm going Duke as well. I brought up everything about Clemson, but I think they're checked out.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's exactly why we went down that segue. So
yeah. Okay. More. Okay. I do have a second SEC question for you.
Perfect.
Miami minus 11.5 going to SMU
or ACC.
SMU coming off a bad loss to Wake.
Is it a bad loss?
Yes.
Wake's 5-2, man. They're not freaking 2-5.
But they're not SEC, dude.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Nebraska beat a 5-2 Northwestern, but it's just
How could I forget?
Yeah,
man, that's kind of tough. It's Miami's first game outside the state of Florida.
It's insane. We're
going to be in November.
Yes,
they haven't been out
on November 1st. It's the first time they're leaving the state of Florida. Come on.
I want to go SMU on this to cover, but I think Miami wins.
Okay, but you're taking SMU to cover.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami because they know they have. If they want to get in the playoff, they have to blow out everybody from here out and get some help because they're not in the ACC championship like we've discussed.
I don't think they're in the same boat as Notre Dame.
Yeah,
I think they can win out, and I think they're in regardless because of how preseason rankings work.
Yeah, and they have the win over Notre Dame.
Yep. So I guess my point is I don't think they have to blow everybody out, is what I'm saying. They just have to win.
Yeah. If is Carson Beck playing?
I think so.
Yeah, I know there was some talk, but
I didn't benching him.
No, I thought
he injured.
He got hurt.
No,
not like a serious injury.
Okay, I don't know. Because, I mean, initially you saw that report, you saw that it
Yeah,
was
but that was
Stanford.
Stanford. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
So,
Next
all
game.
right. Texas at home. Bovada has it as Texas as a 3-point favorite against Vandy. I saw earlier, like ESPN has Texas as a 1-point favorite, but we're going with the 3 from Bovada. I'm
Arch
going
Manning's
Texas.
Manning's
Just
not playing, is he?
no, he has not been cleared yet. So they're
Yeah.
starting a transfer from Troy,
The dude that played for him during the
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State game.
Yeah.
He had an unreal throw in the corner
Yes.
there. Literally couldn't have been any farther.
Dude, I just think of Friday Night Lights when Saracen throws that Hail Mary. The whole
Matt
Texas
Saracen.
situation and everything.
Oh gosh. Oh man.
With your eyes closed, boy.
Who'd you take here?
I took Texas. I just like their defense.
I don't,
This is
dude.
Texas's first home game in a month.
Yeah, that's wild too. I saw that. Oh gosh, I'm not. Give me Vandy.
Pavia, Heisman
Yeah,
train keeps rolling.
I'll take Pavia Palooza.
The good things we got a short docket this week.
Yeah.
This one, I don't even know if we really got a hit on it. Iowa State at home, 8.5-point favorite against Arizona State without Levitt. I don't know if Jordan Tyson's back or not. I didn't see that. I just saw that Levitt's out.
Oh man, give me Jack Trice.
Yeah,
And
I'm
the
going with Iowa
Cyclones.
State as well. They got to get one of these games, right?
Yeah, like I would guess. There's a Big 12 game I'm hoping you listed that I didn't realize if it was on there or not because I think it's worth it.
There's only one more Big 12 game the night got.
I'm looking to see what you had.
Yeah. While you're doing that,
okay, you can keep going.
The largest cocktail party featuring Georgia as a 5-point favorite against Florida in Jacksonville. And
I hate that this is in Jacksonville. Like I know it's always been, but it's just stupid.
Florida's first game post Napier.
Well, I mean, if things hold the way that you love to say they do,
yeah,
give me Florida.
Are you going Florida?
Yeah.
Really? Because I'm going Georgia, and I'm going against what I say.
Well, it's got to work out for me at some point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my initial. I don't know.
I want Florida so bad because I want it to blow up the SEC.
Dude, I think I just don't think Georgia's defense is great.
Right.
And because of that, I think that gives.
Good.
I think that just gives them a chance in a rivalry like this and all that.
Now here's
Florida.
Here's what I can be talked into with Florida. All the talk is the reason why Billy Napier got fired is because he wouldn't give up play calling duty. We're going to be seeing a different play caller for Florida. So what's Florida going to do on offense?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, dude, what if Lagway has a Heisman worthy freaking game because that's the kind of talent he is.
Yeah.
You don't have to look that far into the past to
Dallas
see
Wilson,
how when Dallas Wilson showed up and there was no tape on him, Texas couldn't handle him. And he's been kind of quiet since.
Yeah.
But now you have another situation that's Florida's going to benefit off of this. I think
we've talked about Florida is running the ball for 6.5 a carry, but they refuse to frickin' run the ball.
Yeah, with Baugh.
Yes.
Well, that might not be the case now.
Yeah. And I'm still going to take Georgia, but I'm going to be cheering hard for the Gators.
I just that's the one when I think about the SEC and why I don't like the SEC all that much. And it's not that I don't like them. I can't stand the pandering to it, you know.
Yes.
Like it could be the same thing for the Big Ten, and I'd be like, shut up.
Yep.
There's a world of football outside of this place.
Yep.
But I do kind of find myself like rooting for the Gators it comes to the SEC. Like
Yeah.
it just always has been that way for me. So
When we're not getting DJ Lagway Heisman shoved down our throat.
yeah, I mean just
Like,
just don't make these ultimate like absolute statements about things, and I'll probably root for you.
yeah.
You know, like
So yeah, I'm going Georgia, but I'm
yeah,
cheering hard for the Gators.
okay. I went
Um,
Florida.
this one I wasn't gonna put on the list, but I just have a feeling, so I put it on the list. Virginia is a 5.5 point favorite going to Cal. I'm taking Cal.
I had this circled as a potential season ender for Virginia, and even more like I'm even more worried after the freaking North Carolina freaking garbage that Virginia
Mhm.
had to withstand.
Yep.
But at the same time, North Carolina went out to Cal and played really
Yeah.
good too. So I'm kind of like, I don't think that Virginia covers because I feel like they've just been hanging on by a thread in
Yeah.
all these games. I think that Virginia wins. I think Cal covers.
Okay.
So my pick, I guess, would be Cal.
Yeah.
It just screams to me like
Just what
a
Cal team's
a
gonna
field
show
goal.
up?
Right. But the good thing, like, there is one little thing. Their corner is like right. I can't remember his last name. I think it's Morris. I could be wrong. He is rising up draft boards, NFL
Yeah.
draft boards like crazy. Like he is one of the highest graded corners in the country right now. So I don't know what that does. I don't even know what the receivers are for freaking Virginia. I just know that Chandler Morris knows how to spin the
Yeah.
ball.
Yes. 1,000%.
So
Tennessee at home, a 2.5 point favorite against your favorite Sooners.
how's Oklahoma going to score? Well, actually, no, they can because Tennessee's defense is abysmal.
And they put up what, 26 on Ole Miss.
I might go Oklahoma just because of the same reasons. Like, I think a Oklahoma win here helps blow up the SEC,
Yeah.
and I
Because
think
otherwise
Tennessee.
you're looking at Tennessee Vandy winner going to the playoff.
Right, and I don't like that. I do
Yeah.
not like that, and I just don't like the idea that Tennessee's been able to like. I feel like they're just living on borrowed time.
Yeah.
You know, like so. I like the bounce back from Oklahoma, especially
Mateer's getting healthy.
getting healthier, but like the whole concept that like when Curtis Rourke did the same thing to his hand, you know,
Yeah.
like if for Indiana, like he was never the same. Well, the same thing's happening right now with Mateer.
Yeah.
He's averaging 150 yards less per game
Yeah.
since he's been back. So,
Yeah.
to quote Joel Klatt,
Yes. I was just gonna say that's exactly what Joel Klatt said.
yeah. Oh, wouldn't have known
And,
that myself.
and Oklahoma has zero rushing game.
I know, and that's crazy because Jaden Ott was supposed to be that for
Yes.
them. Like he was good at Cal a year ago.
It's
And
just
he
so
has
weird to
not
hear
been.
Oklahoma doesn't have a rushing game with the pedigree of running backs they've put out with Peterson, and DeMarco
Yeah.
Murray. Like Oklahoma was running back and now like
Geez,
they
I feel
can't even
like
get 3
I
yards.
feel
of
like
carry.
you could probably call up freaking Quentin Griffin and have him run the ball better than these guys are doing right
Yeah.
now. Old
It-
2001 little Barry Sanders looking dude.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going Oklahoma as well. I trust Oklahoma's defense to stop Tennessee more than I trust Tennessee's defense.
Well, here's the other piece to this. So like you talked about it. Like Ole Miss's offense is able to like they're much different in the way they attack the field than
Yes.
Tennessee. Tennessee is more like run, throw deep, run, throw deep. Like they don't do a whole like it's all half field reads and
Yeah.
all this garbage, you know, like it's not near as complex as what Lane Kiffin does at Ole Miss. So like I honestly think Oklahoma's probably like, oh thank goodness, this is a little more simpler this week.
Yes.
You know.
Well, and you don't have guys out running their mouth leading up to the game to Lane Kiffin.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what that guy was doing, but
No.
We got 2 games left. Which one do you want to go with first?
Big 12.
Okay. Utah, 10-point favorite at home against Sorsby and the Bearcats of Cincinnati. Actually, I want to change it. Against Corleone, because I just like saying Corleone.
Yeah. Oh, man. Like, this is the game that I've been like, when Cincinnati stubs their toe off of their current streak, it's going to be at Utah. And it goes back to the episode where you talked about Sierra Wright mentioning that Utah is a nightmare to play in. It's a night game, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a night game. Cincinnati is way overconfident. Like, I think Sorsby obviously is fantastic. I've been pumping him up since the beginning of the year.
He has not thrown an interception since the Nebraska game.
Right. And that doesn't. He still might not.
Yeah, because that was just a Hail Mary that he got picked off on.
Yeah. I mean, so, like, it's just one of those deals where Cincinnati's playing really good. If they get their run game going on that outside zone, then I think it's a toss-up. Like, and I see Cincinnati covering. I don't see them getting beat by 10 plus.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't. They have too much juice.
Yeah.
You know, like, and I think a Utah win by 10 plus, the way that Cincinnati's playing right now, like, as a Nebraska fan, I don't want to see that either.
Yeah.
You know,
here's where I'm leaning Cincinnati too, because the 2 games we have seen Utah get punched in the mouth, get punched back, because usually Utah's the more physical team, right? Yes. The 2 games we've seen them, the teams that can punch back, they've lost, where they can match physicality. Yeah. And I think Cincinnati can match physicality with Utah. So that's a
good point.
That's why I'm going with Cincinnati.
I just don't think their defense has been very good in terms of, like, being reliable, like, at a consistent clip.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, like, although holding Baylor to 20 points is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
But I thought that giving up 30 plus to Iowa State but they were already up big, so they kind of freaking like shut her down, and, like, I guess okay. Yeah, all right. I'm going to rethink that a little bit and just, like, maybe Cincinnati's defense is better than I thought over the last couple of weeks. But
remember, they didn't have Corleone against Iowa State.
That's true. Very true. That's a huge get back, obviously, when they got him back. So,
yeah.
All right, let's finish up.
All right, the last game. USC 6.5-point favorite in a 38-degree at kickoff game against Nebraska in Lincoln. Blackout. Matt Rhule, new contract extension.
Well, nobody's actually going to be wearing black because they're all going to be shirtless.
Carhartts.
They're going to no, they're going to be shirtless because it's freaking warm out.
Yeah.
You know, like 38 degrees ain't cold. You know, like it's not cold. So yeah. Anyway, I want Nebraska, dude. Like, I think it's kind of goes into the idea that what you were talking about in our text messaging and all that stuff with our group prior to the show. Like, it just feels different. I haven't even listened to the Damon Benning pod yet. You know, like I gotta do that.
Rhule take some shots at Penn State. Me and Colin both told you that. Like, he doesn't say it directly, but you know who he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, I just don't see. This is one of the biggest storylines. Was like when USC and UCLA. I mean, Oregon and Washington, they have to play in cold weather at times in their home environments, right? But, like, when USC and UCLA were announced to join the Big Ten, I was like, I can't wait to see those guys play in a Big Ten stadium in November in the snow. Now, we're not getting snow, obviously, but it's like, you know, like, those are the things you want to see in college football, is those southern warm weather freaking schools having to play in the upper Midwest in cold weather, you know, like, so I just think it's going to affect them. Like, those pretty boys in SoCal, like, they don't freaking, It's going to be a different environment. It's going to be juiced. Like, this is not, I mean, the whole blacking out of the end and the end zones and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, like, that's going to be something freaking crazy
Now,
to look at on TV.
what did you think of the Josh Pate stat with Emmett Johnson?
I didn't hear it.
When Emmett Johnson carries the ball 20 times, Nebraska's 3-0 against P4 teams. When Emmett Johnson doesn't carry, sorry, not carry, 20 touches.
Okay, I was gonna ask if that distinction was okay.
20 when he has less than 20 touches, they're 1-2.
Well,
We've been talking about Nebraska needing to run the damn ball all year.
Yeah, but I think getting creative in the way that they've done it by hitting some of those swing screens and all that kind of stuff, using him out of the backfield in the passing game is just, I mean, it's an extension of the run game.
Yeah.
You know, like, just to get another playmaker in space, and when Emmett Johnson is in space, he's freaking lethal.
Yeah.
You know, like, he's not fantastic between tackles. You know, because he's not a huge body.
Yeah.
You know, and
he can make guys miss, though.
Yes, he can, absolutely. But, I mean, you want to do that out in space rather than in a phone booth. So, like, I 100% agree with you. Like, that dude is, like, and I've said it, like, he's, like, watching him sometimes is kind of, like, I understand his game, but, and just from a personal standpoint, like, I like that guy that's kind of got the trucking mentality, you know? Like, that's so, he's constantly moving side to side and evading. And I know that that's how it works for him, and he's got quick feet. He's like freaking Muhammad Ali on a football field, you know, like, and I believe in what he can do, and like, but you got to get him in space to be able to do that a lot of times. So, you know, like, and it's obviously served the Huskers well. So I think, like, you just have to go in and be like, we got to get you the ball 20 plus times, you know, like, that's just the way it is. But that's because there's nobody else that's been able to be reliable to behind him or be a consistent contributor in the passing game. Largely out, I think, like, Isaiah Hunter's kind of been that guy emerging lately. Yeah. Because it kind of went from Ja'Cory Barney over into Isaiah Hunter. But really the consistency from the consistent piece amongst the offense is Emmett Johnson, obviously. Yes.
And we have not seen the end around, you know, stuff to Ja'Cory Barney since the Michigan game. I don't know if Ja'Cory's beat up that bad. So,
well, I feel like every time he gets tackled, it looks like he's going to tear an ACL.
Yes.
It's like his cleats get stuck in the turf and his knees get twisted up. Like, I've seen that. Like, we saw that against Cincinnati, and I feel like we've seen a mirror image of that tackle probably 4 more times with him. And it scares me every freaking time.
Yes. Well, I am cheering hard for the Huskers.
But you're picking USC. You freaking turd. How can you guys keep continuing to freaking tell me I suck and I'm not a Husker fan?
Why?
When you guys pull this crap?
Because when that graphic comes up on the bottom of the screen on Saturday night, what's going to be right next to USC's name?
A number.
Yes. Where Nebraska has lost their last 29 straight against teams with a number next to their name.
Nuh-uh.
Who did they beat that's ranked?
Cincinnati.
They didn't have a number next to their name.
Doesn't matter. They do now.
Okay.
Well, at what point does that count? At what point does that count?
The streak is the 29 straight.
29 straight, yeah, because of at the time rankings? Yes. That's dumb.
I mean, that's what the whole Rhule thing, when everyone talked about Rhule's record. Well, they don't talk about the teams that he beats also end up being ranked later.
Right, but that's the point. Like, that's just dumb freaking stuff that people want to. That's the reason why the SEC gets the benefit of everything, because of it's based on preseason bias.
Every team's ranked in the SEC, so no matter what, a win or a loss is against a ranked team.
Right, but that's because at the end of the year, these other teams don't have it. Like, at the beginning of the year, nobody has a chance to win these games in non-conference games against ranked opponents because they're not ranked. When later on throughout the year, they're ranked, but you don't play those games in November.
But until Nebraska beats a ranked at the time team,
it's happening.
I hope so.
I still say, what did I say at the beginning of the year? What did I say? Huskers were going to the Big Ten title game, and you guys can keep freaking telling me that I freaking suck and I'm negative and all this stuff. You
Well,
guys
that's
can
because
just
you became an Iowa fan halfway
go
through.
stick it, man. Go stick it.
Does Iowa beat the bye week this week?
Yes, and they beat Oregon next week.
You're finally making your call.
Yes, that is an Oregon little pennant behind me, and I'm picking Iowa to beat Oregon.
All right.
I'm actually picking Iowa to win out right now.
Okay. So they're going to beat Nebraska. I thought you were a Nebraska homer.
I am a Nebraska homer, but I'm reserving that game to find out what happens the next 3 weeks for Nebraska first. Yeah. If Nebraska wins out first, also, and they're both have won out going into that game, then I want time to actually pick it.
Yes.
But if Nebraska loses a game prior to that game, then I'm picking Iowa to win.
All right. I think that's an ending spot.
Yeah. So, let's get that going.
All right. Like, follow, subscribe, and feel free to join us Monday after we break down the weekend. Have a good one.
If you are a Husker fan and you pick against the Huskers, you need to stick it where the sun don't shine.
Don't forget to eat all of your kids' candy.
And wear black on Saturday, for God's sakes.